I mean, I did call that Ekitike would be sold by Frankfurt for 75 million euros, but that was for the 2026 summer. And right now, Hugo Ekitike to Liverpool, deal in place for fee over 90 million euros for the French striker to join from Eintracht Frankfurt, potentially reaching 95 millions with add-ons. 6-year deal for Ekitike, valid until June 2031. He only wanted Liverpool, new striker for slot. I don't know how to feel about this one as a Liverpool fan and somebody that has watched a lot of Eintracht Frankfurt this season. One thing you have to say, Dino Topmöller, you deserve a pay rise. What he has done to get the funds for Omar Mahmoud, so what was that, 70 million? And now you're going to get 90 million for Hugo Ekitike, 160 million by Frankfurt. They've done this in the past. Jovic, Kolomoani, Sebastian Haller. Like Eintracht Frankfurt, they just develop players and specifically strikers at an alarming rate. And now they're just going to basically be Jordan Belfort. Sometimes they're scammers and sometimes maybe they do the right thing. It's just crazy from Frankfurt's perspective of how well run they are as a club. And they already signed the replacement for Ekitike. They knew he was leaving this summer. Jonathan Burkhardt, who they got from Mainz. Like Frankfurt are always a step ahead of the competition because they know they can't keep these players for long term. Let's just sell them for a ridiculous price, and they recuperate ridiculous fees for some of these players. And now it is Hugo Ekitike who will go to Liverpool. So in today's video, we're going to talk about Hugo Ekitike going to Liverpool. What will he bring to the squad? Will this be a successful signing? What are some positives? What's some negatives of this transfer? And how will that implicate the rest of the transfer window for Liverpool? So how has Hugo Ekitike gotten to this part of his career where he's making this big money move at 23 years old? Well, he didn't start off the greatest, right? He had that fantastic season with Reims. He had a breakthrough year, then goes to PSG, and it was just horrific from him. He didn't get a lot of starts because there was Neymar, Messi, and Mbappe. Like, you're not going to get into that side and play consistent minutes as a youngster. So when he got subbed on, yes, he did not play well at all, but you need rhythm as a player. And he got no rhythm. And you know who the manager was for PSG at that time? Oh yeah, that idiot, Christophe Galtier, who was a terrible manager. And we saw how PSG played that season. Yeah, they won Ligue 1, but they got a ridiculous squad. I think Hugo Ekitike just made the wrong move at his career. PSG just saw the talent he had within Ligue 1 and thought to themselves, okay, let's try and get the player. Let's try and maybe in a couple of years see how well he's going to develop. And maybe he just thought to himself, Hugo Ekitike, I need to move away. So then he went to Eintracht Frankfurt on loan. He had a decent loan spell, and then Frankfurt signed him for, what was it, 16 to 20 million euros. PSG have a 20% sell-on clause, so when he goes to the next club that we're going to talk about, they get 20% of the transfer. And then at Eintracht Frankfurt, a little bit of a slow start, seeing how he can incorporate into the team. And then this season has definitely been the breakthrough season for Hugo Ekitike with 22 goals and 12 assists. And some of the football he was playing in, that's why I just loved watching him and Marmoush together. They were such a great tandem together. They were like CP3 and Blake Griffin. They were like McDonald's fries with a McFlurry. They were elite combinations. And you just saw them play with such freedom. You saw them play with such elegance. And that's why it was enjoyable to watch Frankfurt on a weekly basis. And then when Marmoush left, and Topmöller played various styles of football. 4-4-2, 3-4-3, 3-4-2-1, 3-5-2. So it was always about getting those two players involved. They had good link-up play. Obviously, Götze was a very critical part of Frankfurt this season. And once Marmoush left, then Hugo Ekitike was the vocal point. And when he was the vocal point, I mean, he was playing some fantastic football. Just very elegant on the ball, good hold-up play. Not a lot of goals, but he just got everybody else involved in the build-up for Frankfurt and then driving the team forward, basically with his dribbles, an outlet for the defense. So you can kind of see with a lot of these goals for Frankfurt that Hugo Ekitike has scored, it's mostly down the left. He likes to drift down the left, especially in the counter-attacking style that Topmöller wanted to play. And then when Frankfurt kept possession of the ball, mostly against, like a Ferencváros or a Victoria Pilsen in the Europa League, he was just hold up play and wait for the runs in behind. Now that's something we're going to see a lot in Liverpool. I'll get to that in a second. And he kept on flourishing at the end of the season with Eintracht Frankfurt, getting the goals, getting the assists. And yes, sometimes it was very much frustrating with some of the lack of finishes, but you can just see he creates his own shot. This is not a situation where he has an easy tap in or a teammate is creating a great opportunity for him. A lot of the chances Hugo Ekitike is creating from himself. So that's why I think Liverpool wanted to get a player like Hugo Ekitike. Now, this whole drama with Alexander Isak and Hugo Ekitike, I don't know what to make of it, and I didn't want to get involved or make a video because I think it was pointless. Like everybody trying to get into the story. Oh yeah, Alexander Isak could join. Then we have these ITKs on social media. Oh, he's wandering around thinking about his move. It's like I don't understand people really. Like Alexander Isak and Newcastle, they're gonna stay together this season. Maybe next summer Alexander Isak would leave, and of course, if I had the choice, and I think every Liverpool fan would agree, would you rather have Isak or Hugo Ekitike? You want the finished product. The finished product is Alexander Isak. He would absolutely change the fortunes for Liverpool this season in trying to win every trophy. Now with Hugo Ekitike, we'll have some question marks, but we'll discuss that. So I think that whole smoke screen of, okay, we're maybe going to get Alexander Isak, or maybe we'll still get him with Hugo Ekitike. We're not. Liverpool fans, just say to yourself, you're not signing Alexander Isak. Okay, it's done. Move on. And yes, it's sad because I think Alexander Isak would have been absolutely magical at Liverpool, but that's over. So ITKs, content creators, stop. He's not joining Liverpool. Now the player that will join Liverpool is Hugo Ekitike. I'm going to be honest. I'm a little bit scared about this transfer. Not in the sense that he's a bad player or that he's going to flop, but there's going to be so much expectation. For 95 million euros. 95 million euros. Obviously, that's add-ons. I think it's 90 million the transfer fee and then 5 million with the add-ons. Like, that's a ridiculous fee for Liverpool to pay for a player who has had one great season in his career. One great season, which was last season. Now, maybe he goes to a better team and he can flourish more with better players around him. Yes, that is a possibility. But how likely is it that he's going to get... Because the Liverpool fans' expectation is when you get a player like 90 million, and the same thing was for Darwin Núñez, you need to get 20 goals. You need to get 25 goals in all competitions. I cannot for certainly say that Hugo Ekitike is going to do that because he just hasn't shown it on a consistent basis. And I know some people will give the example, Alexander Isak scored 6 goals at Real Sociedad before he joined Newcastle. Okay, look at the season before that. He scored 17 goals. Look what he did at Willem. Look at all the clubs that Alexander Isak has been at, except for Dortmund, because Dortmund didn't really give him a chance and he was dealing with a lot of injuries. I'm just a little bit worried on the sense that the goal-scoring aspect from Hugo Ekitike is a little bit lacking. Now, can he polish it and become a very good player? No doubt about it. I think overall, as a player, I think Hugo Ekitike is going to transform the way Liverpool are going to attack. A lot of the time last season, it was Mo Salah and just hope and pray. Salah would put those Trivela crosses at the back post towards the Darwin Núñez, to a Luis Diaz, and they would miss. Maybe with the Hugo Ekitike, he can finish them off. Hugo Ekitike can hold off the play. Now Liverpool have an outlet down the middle. Now it's not anymore, okay, play down the wings to a Luis Diaz, Cody Gakpo, or Salah and see if they can create. No, now you can play down the middle. Now you can have runs in behind from a Frankfurt to a Kerkez, to a Salah, and then whoever's going to be in the left wing, to a Wirtz. That's going to be a very scary proposition for the opponents. And how do you defend against Liverpool? Do you truly just try and defend out wide? Do you try and just compact the midfield? Like, it's going to be interesting to see how teams are going to go up against Liverpool now that Ekitike has joined. I like the player. I think he's a very good player, a lot of talent. That's the thing. He's got a lot of talent. And I like Slot. I think Slot is a brilliant manager. There is expectation now. Like, you are spending crazy money if you're Liverpool with Wirtz, with Kerkez, with Frimpong, and possibly more. But heck, this is what we want as Liverpool fans. We want the pressure. We want to put the pressure on the club to spend. FSG, John W. Henry, we didn't know you had this bank account. Who scammed FSG? Who kept him in a room and said, John, you got to spend money right now. Screw the Red Sox. Sorry to any Red Sox fans watching. You guys are getting decimated while Liverpool are just spending the cash. It must suck to be a Red Sox fan right now because you can just look at the two teams. One is going crazy with expectations while the other one is just dusting away like Manchester United at this point. So I think Slot will look at Hugo Ekitike and say, that's Santiago Jimenez. Now you're going to ask, why Santiago Jimenez, Michael? Because when you watched Feyenoord in the last couple of seasons with Slot, Jimenez was such a vocal point. They would play down the middle to Jimenez. Jimenez would just basically be like a center in the NBA, hold up the ball, and then wait for runs in behind, whether it was from Koshku or other players, Igor Pazjau. There was a lot of movement around Santiago Jimenez. So maybe Slot is looking at Hugo Ekitike and saying, you can do the same thing as Santiago Jimenez with the hold-up play, with the wonderful eye of a touch, because you see in a lot of highlights for Hugo Ekitike, he's got these little deft touches that he can play around the defense. One time to Götze, which was a beautiful move. Other times where he's just very lanky with his feet. That's why Hugo Ekitike is basically Victor Wembanyama. So congrats, Liverpool fans. We signed Victor Wembanyama of football at this moment in time. And I believe that Hugo Ekitike is really going to complement well with Salah. Because Salah, he could not play through the middle towards Diaz, because Diaz would just get bullied off because he's not very familiar with the position, or into a Darwin Núñez, because Darwin Núñez just has zero hold-up play, and Darwin is just a guy who wants to run in behind, take the shot on first time. You don't play through Darwin Núñez. That's not Darwin Núñez's game. Now with Hugo Ekitike, Salah maybe can feel comfortable. Okay, I can play a 1-2 combination with this player, or with the Wirtz. I think Wirtz is going to be so fantastic to watch with Hugo Ekitike, depending on where Slot wants to play Wirtz in this team. And Hugo Ekitike, it's just like, how much expectation and how much pressure is there going to be on him to perform? If there was no Salah, I think Hugo Ekitike would be under massive pressure to get like 30 to 35 goals. Being the striker for Liverpool, paying that sum of fee, it's a big risk to take if you're Liverpool Football Club. And they really wanted to get Isak. Isak was like 1A. Hugo Ekitike was 1B. And if Liverpool truly believed that Hugo Ekitike was the guy, this deal would have been done a month ago. It would have been done. Now, because of Isak and the situation, Liverpool maybe tried to sign him. Okay, we're gonna go then for Ekitike. He'll be the backup plan. Overall, I'm happy with this signing. I just think the fee is ridiculous price, and now you're gonna see Rivals fans talk about Liverpool spending. Chiesa cost 11 million last season, people. And I know for a fact, Liverpool are not going to spend any money next summer. So Liverpool fans, if you love the transfer window, this is your Christmas. This is everything you've wished for as a Liverpool fan under FSG. Spending crazy money in one summer, and then next summer, it's going to be quiet. And then in 2027 summer, Liverpool are going to spend again because Virgil van Dijk will leave and Salah will leave. Ekitike is an interesting player in a sense that he can play a multitude of ways. And we know the fluidity that Slot's attacking front line has, where you're seeing Gakpo sometimes in the number 9 role, Diaz in the number 9 role. Salah is the only player who has a set position and he always stays there. With Ekitike, I mean, we could probably see sometimes Gakpo playing down the middle, then Hugo Ekitike maybe receiving the ball down the left, and then the counterattack. I think this is where it's going to be very scary, is that Hugo Ekitike in the transition with his long legs and very comfortable with the dribble, that's going to be a problem for the opposition, because a lot of the times, Liverpool in the counterattack last season, they looked dangerous. They would have an opportunity, a 3-on-2 opportunity, but nobody would be making a run. It would just be Salah with the ball. Dribble, 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 dribble. Nobody would be making a run in behind, and then Salah would take the shot. Now with Hugo Ekitike, he can drive with the ball. Then you have Salah on one side, maybe Wirtz on the other side. Then obviously Kerkez and Frimpong with the pace they have. So on the counterattack with Hugo Ekitike, it's going to be fun times. The inflation rate of some of these players is ridiculous. Madueke, Mudryk, I mean, I can go on and on. Now, Hugo Ekitike joins that club. Like, I never thought to myself Darwin Núñez was 80 million. I don't think Hugo Ekitike is worth 90 million. At the maximum, Hugo Ekitike is 70 million. But Frankfurt are scammers, and Liverpool are desperate to sign a striker before the preseason because they need to get comfortable in this system and see how this team can play together now with all of these new pieces involved in the starting 11. And Hugo Ekitike, good player, has a very wonderful game about him, just lacks the goals. If he can polish the finishing, I think Liverpool have a really good player. And I'm not expecting 20 goals this season in the Premier League. If he gets 20 goals in the Premier League, I will be a little bit silent on the transfer, because right now I'm a little bit skeptical about the player. Because if we got like a Victor Osimhen, I'll be like, oh yes, Victor Osimhen is going to get us goals no matter what. Yes, his overall play isn't fantastic compared to Hugo Ekitike, but Liverpool need a goal scorer up front. Osimhen is that guy. Hugo Ekitike, could he slowly develop into that player? Possibly. But Liverpool right now, it's win mode time. There's none of this process. There's none of this, oh, let's wait and see. Liverpool's objective this season is to win, and to win more. So Hugo Ekitike is kind of a project player, but at the same time, but has the possibility to strengthen his game more and be a better finisher. So it's going to be fascinating to see how this transfer goes down. If we kind of do like a best 11 for Liverpool heading into this season, obviously Alisson in goal, Kerkez left back, Van Dijk, Konate 2 center backs, Frimpong right back, McAllister and Gravenberch the 2 DMs, Wirtz in the number 10. Left wing, we'll see what happens with Diaz. For right now, we'll go with Cody Gakpo, Ekitike up front, Salah on the right wing. I think Liverpool have done very good business this summer. Getting a player like Wirtz is just transformative. I just love Wirtz. I think he's going to be one of the best players in the world, if not already, because I just think the guy is an unbelievably talented player, and he will just chance create like he's CP3 out there. Ekitiks, Frimpong, they bring speed, they bring an eye for goal. I think that's going to be a key aspect as well for Hugo Ekitike. So I think Liverpool have done well in this business. I think they still need a backup center back depending on what happens with Konate. And if Diaz leaves, go get Rodrigo. Yeah, I'm selfish. Yes, I want more. Feed me more like I'm right back from WWE. Go get Rodrigo. If then we get Rodrigo, Ekitike, Salah, Wirtz, front four, we have done it, people. We have truly done it then if we sign Rodrigo in this transfer window. But we'll have to see how that goes down. But with Ekitiks and Frimpong, and another thing I didn't highlight in the video, Ekitike's aerial ability isn't the most fantastic, even though he's like 6'3". He's not the greatest in the air. So if you're expecting him to be like a dominant force in the air, like he's a Drogba or something like that, he's not. But he can still be dangerous at the end of those crosses. So I wonder if it's going to kind of be like low-driven crosses into an Ekitike who's very comfortable with the ball at his feet. That could be a possibility. So there are so many ways this is going to go down with this transfer, and I'm excited to see how it looks in the preseason. If he looks a little bit sluggish in the first couple games of the preseason, people just relax. It's preseason. I see people overreacting about preseason games already. The preseason is to test. There's no finished results. You cannot get a true sample size of what's going to occur this summer. But with Hugo Ekitike, first preseason game, I will be there watching with Wirtz, Ekitiks, and Frimpong. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, people. Hugo Ekitike to Liverpool. Is it a good transfer, a risky transfer, or bad business by Liverpool and fantastic business by Eintracht Frankfurt? Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, share with a friend, share with a Liverpool friend, and remember to follow me on all the socials, Instagram, Twitter, join the Discord, all those links, description down below. But have a beautiful day, stay safe in this crazy world. Till next time, adios.